Hi folks, welcome to IMB Magazine. My name is Clive Forth from MTB Skills and you're joining us for the Skills and Technique feature. Each issue we're going to be looking at different techniques and the core skills to riding mountain bikes. So sit back and relax and enjoy. Hey folks, welcome to IMB. It's been a little while, hasn't it? But we're back, and we're back with some technique for you. This edition we're going to be looking at cornering. So there's loads of different styles of corners out there. I brought a couple of volunteers along with me today just so we can look at different people's abilities on the bike, their different frame sizes, and we have both a lady and a guy with us, so we can see how you might have to change your technique according to your physique, your physiology, but you're also going to have to change your technique according to the types of corners that you're riding. So stay tuned, enjoy. Cool, so the first corner we're going to look at is a bit of a scrabbly off-camera corner. It's a switchback. It's the sort of thing where you come into the corner carrying a lot of speed, so speed control is a key thing here. Footwork's always a key thing in cornering work, and what we've got to consider always is our vision, where we're looking. So hopefully they're going to be looking into that corner, judging their braking point. As they come into the corner, they should be looking up for an exit point, getting their head up, and they may want to pre-select a gear to pedal on the exit of the corner. So let's see how they go. Right, here we go. So let's see how Tim goes. He's making a good wide turn on the way in. However, there's a little bit of improvement to be had there in his footwork. If we watch that back in slow motion. Good space on the way into the corner. He's looking through the corner, ever so down slightly, but we can see the footwork. He's got cranks not even quite level. It's Daria's first run. So great work looking through the corner, and the outside foot's down, giving her lots of grip. A little wide on the exit, and you'll notice she's not used as much room on the way in as we watch this slow-mo footage as Tim did. So we're going to give her a few pointers and see if she can open that turn up and get a cleaner exit. Okay, so we've just given Tim a few pointers, and hopefully we're going to be looking at some improved footwork, pivoting from the hips, pushing the elbows out just to get a bit more weight into the front end of the bike. The one thing Tim had over Daria there was that he opened up the line a bit more, using a bit of that banking on the way into. There we go, much tighter, much more grip, and looking a bit sweeter on the bike. Okay, so Daria's making her run in, and what we've done now is we're getting Daria to open up this turn a little bit more by using the banking out to rider's right. So pretty good, a little hot on the way in, and she had to have a little grab of the brakes mid-turn. So in these situations where we're working with full line, it may be that you need to do a bit of brake control through there, but remember, we go back to our braking lessons where we're looking at deceleration, it's all done on the way into the corner, and then a bit of control braking through the corner. Okay, so Tim's coming in. Hopefully he's got a bit more commitment into the turn this time, having seen me come through. Right, so Tim's a big fella, he can definitely get more weight in that outer pedal. So not all corners are ridden with the outer pedal down. Sometimes we run cranks level, but there's a distinct difference between the amount of of your weight you can transfer through the bike with the cranks level compared to when you're standing and stomping on one foot. It does really give you that little bit more grip, but that's a good improvement from Tim. Let's see what Daria's got. She's happy with her grip levels, and what's been great in there is all of her technique, other than just widening this turn out a little and just smoothing out the braking this time. That's great. She's not running wide on the turn, it's nice and controlled. Sometimes speed isn't the key. What we're looking at really is being in control, riding safe, riding smooth. That enables you to ride the corner again. You're always better to come out of a corner thinking, oh, I could have gone a little bit quicker, than to not come out of it at all because you're down the banking or in the ditch somewhere. Super, right, so we've come to another corner and we've specifically started this with a couple of flat corners. Those of you that are used to riding in bike park environments are used to having that support from berms, and even those riding in natural terrain, if somebody's scratched a line in, you're going to have something there more often than not to give you some support. So we've chosen a couple of flattish corners. This one in particular is really, we're starting to stitch corners together. We've got a long steady left-hander on the way in, which is a little bit off camber, and you've got to watch the exit of that, but because of its gradient, it gives you a boost of speed into this flat right-hander. I'm trying to get my weight transferred through the bike by moving my upper body slightly into the front centre of the bike, done by pushing the elbows out. Need to get a little bit of weight into the front. The front's wanting to get a little bit wayward and run wide in the turn on the loose stones. And then I may move towards the back of the bike ever so slightly to be centred, ready to pedal out of the turn. We'll get Daria and Tim to ride the same corner now, and we'll see where they're at with their body position. In this instance, it's going to be doing some decelerating on the way into the corner, and maybe a little bit of control braking through the corner, obviously trying to avoid being on the front brake. Footwork wise, you might be able to run cranks level. If you need to get that added bit of grip, you can drop the outer foot. You can roll the foot in the shoe towards the crank arm, twisting the knee in, twisting the hips, and that's going to help develop a bit more traction again. Right, here we go. So Tim sets up on this corner. Let's see how he gets on with his first run. So he's doing much better with the footwork there. However, what he's not done is accounted for additional speed on the way in. He's not matched his gear to match the trail speed. Daria's run here. So good with the footwork, looking through the turn, but seems to have switched off partway through and run a bit wide on the exit. So here we go, let's have a look at Tim in slow-mo. So now he's getting his outer foot down, looking through the corner, much tighter on the exit, and a bit better with the gear ratio. It's a common thing when you get this boost of speed on the way into something, it's a good idea to ranch through a couple of gears, particularly if it's continuing to descend on the exit of the corner, and you can match your gear to the trail speed. So Daria's run, sticking much tighter now. She's got it back on the grippier stuff rather than running wide, looking through the turn, outer foot down, all great work. But again, we can get Daria up a couple of gears and she can match her gear to the trail speed just to get a cleaner exit. Alright, so we've got Tim dropping in again. He's now matching his gear to his trail speed a lot better. And he's going to be really focused on getting the outer foot down. Nice, he's looking through the turn. And you can see already that the speed and the commitment improves with just a couple of runs, and there's a lot to be said for practicing and just sessioning a corner. This is a great place to work. We've got good visibility in here, nice little short circuit they can make up. Here we go, Daria on our last run. It really is key to match that gear to the trail speed, because if you do need an added bit of grip on the exit of the corner, it can come from pedaling forces. If you're in a really light gear, you're spinning away, you're not getting any traction on bike. Key thing here always is leaning the bike over. We've got to get the bike onto the edge to get the edge of the tyre cutting into the surface to give us a grip. If we think about having the bike leant over, tipping the arms out left and right to get that to drop in, and gravity is trying to suck us to the floor. So with that outer foot down, we can balance the bike and help keep that suspended in the air, and with the torso slightly more upright, gravity is sucking me down through the centre of the frame. I'm getting good even weight distribution out through the tyres, and it's not wanting to drop the frame. But most people, slow speed corners, we're not riding that quick. If we start throwing the torso around, it's going to really dramatically make then the bike follow and we drop to the ground. So leaning the bike, not the body. Tim coming in on a run now. Let's see how he puts the sequence of corners together. Pretty good. So even from back here we can see that he's looking up. There's minimal speed control to do in here, and something that Tim can always work on a little bit is with his footwork. It's just about him getting all of his weight. He's a big fella and he can use that to his advantage to push through the pedals to get some more grip in the corner. So Daria's doing a great job to use the full width of the trail, riding the bank on the outside and then moving across to the outside of the next turn to use that banking just as a little mini berm. What happens beyond these couple of turns is it then goes flat crossing the footpath and you start to lose that traction, particularly into the next right hand corner down by the blue post. Let's see it from another angle. He's done a real good job to get out, and it's almost like a micro berm in here, and he can use that to his advantage. And again, we're looking at he's leaning the bike in, not the body. Doing a grand job there. Let's see how Daria goes this time. Let's look particularly at the head work, see where she's looking. The head's up, looking through the corner. And that's strayed a bit from the footwork, but she's got plenty of traction here. She can be running cranks level, and she's doing a good thing to swap her feet over to lead with alternate foots. And what that does for her is steers the hips in the direction of travel. You'll all find you have one way that you prefer to turn compared to another. The non-favoured side, the chocolate foot side, is literally because you're turning against your own hips. Okay, so what do I really mean when I'm talking about this chocolate foot thing and leading with the opposite foot? If you're new to biking, then it's a great time to introduce real good habitual behaviour for cornering technique. If you're an old schooler and you've got years of muscle memory, sometimes it's a bit of a harder pattern to break. But when we're on the bike, typically we'll lead with one foot. And what that does is it automatically turns the hips pointing in a direction. So we square ourselves up and you'll feel that rotation in the lower part of your back. In this stance, as a right foot lead, it means I've got lots of room to manoeuvre in a left plane. And in the rightward plane, I'm working against myself, twisting at the hips. If I switched my feet out and led with my left foot, now I get maximum rotation in that right hand plane. What it also means is if I need to drop a foot, is I'm also doing it on the forwards pedal stroke. So rolling the cranks over forwards, it's always pedaling, it's always drive, and we can swap our foot out in the turns, and that's exactly what Daria's been doing down through this section, and I'm probably doing through this section as well. I learnt that through racing dual slalom, where you're left, right, left, right, left, right all the time, and you want to get that out foot down midpoint in the corner, so you're always swapping the feet over. So yeah, standing square, I've got equal rotation in the hips, but as soon as I offset the feet, I'm going to be working against myself in a particular direction. Go away and think about it and see which one your chocolate foot is, which one's your favoured foot, and whether you prefer doing a skid turn to the left or to the right. And hopefully you'll see 9.9 times out of 10 that measures up. There's always the odd one, isn't there? So there's no hard and fast rules with berms. Sometimes you can cut in low and then anticipate the bike sliding and moving up into the corner to give you that support. Sometimes you want to just maintain an even course and trajectory around the berm, and typically that's on the clean line that's already worn. However, be careful, because some berms might not be built that well and you may run out of support later on and you could get suckered into a line that other people have ridden. So on the way in, obviously vision's going to tell you a lot about that, and you're looking as far through the turn as you possibly can. You may let the eyeballs glance across to see that bit further through to give you an indicator, and then bring the eyeballs back wherever the head's positioned, looking at the sort of trail information a little bit more directly in front of you. It's very hard to crick your neck all the way around these things, and you want to be looking for the odd pokey out rock or braking bump, some interference in there, and I suppose how much support is further through the corner. So try and avoid running too low in the loose in the marbles, unless of course you want to use that to induce drift. Try avoid running too high, because if the berm disappears you're going to run out of space and pop out the top of the thing. Somewhere around the middle. Getting the bike leant over, there's less need now to get that outer foot down because the berm's doing the work for you. You're pushing into that. If you're not quick enough, you won't have enough speed to hang on the wall, and you'll end up riding the bike a little bit more upright, and that's not quite so good. But have a look at the footage, and hopefully you can pick up some good pointers in there. Super, so the final corner that we're looking at in this session is quite a bit different from the others. All the previous corners we've been on have got a single line into them. Here we've got quite a different scenario where there's now multiple line choices and there's a lot of room left to right, and there's pros and cons to all the different lines through this corner. So this really is where your vision work comes in and your speed control work comes in, and inevitably we're always needing that footwork as well. So the corner actually runs in quite deep. There's not a lot goes on in the early part of this. It's a very sort of mellow radius, and about where I'm stood now is the tightest part in the corner where it all happens really. And that's where you could do with getting outside foot down if you need the grip. Got little roots below me. Those off camber opportunities present sometimes the occasion for the wheel to slip out, and the trail surface is loose. We've got loose stone sat on top as well, so it's another place where we need to use good technique.
Right, Tim coming down, he's going at it, he's coming in pretty hard and fast. He's kept his cranks level till this deepest part in the corner where you can see he's had his outer foot down just to get some grip. Here we are in slow-mo, looking through the turn. Big improvement from Tim through the day. I know him and Daria are both quite competitive between one another, and they've really pushed each other on. Great work. So Daria's run, they're both on a similar line on the way in, and again Daria gets her outer foot down very deep into the corner there where she needs it, and that enables her to drive the cranks on the exit. Great work by Daria as well.
So there you go, we've seen how different bodies and styles of bike are dealing with this bit of trail and the other bits of trail. So about time I did some work, I'll get on my bike and give it a run through for you.
So here we go on my run, and you can see I've really opened up the turn on the way in, a completely different line on the way through. Outer foot down for much longer with the added speed, and off into the sunset. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We'll see you again.